season's winding down. It's the last week of the season, and the MVP race, seemingly because of injuries, and the NBA has this rule now where you have to play a certain amount of games to be
65
eligible,
games.
which is a whole nother issue that I may or may not get into here. But the MVP race is, I would say it's down to two people, but I'm going to be just completely transparent and say it's over. I love the fact that Victor Wembanyama is openly campaigning for MVP, as the question says on the screen, because he should. Because the story of this NBA season cannot be told without the San Antonio Spurs. Also, by the way, the story of the NBA season cannot be told without Kate Cunningham, but he's not eligible because he missed too many games. But John, and I'm going to call him your guy because out of the two of us on this show, he is your guy. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is going to win MVP. It's officially wrapped up. It was wrapped up when he broke Will Chamberlain's record for most 20-point games because the NBA media loves media stories like this. And the Thunder are the number one
That's
seed.
why Russell Westbrook won MVP the year he did, because he kept averaging triple doubles.
Every time you break a record of a legend, you're going to win MVP. And Shea's doing it, and he's going to have a chance, in my mind, to win back-to-back regular season MVPs and back-to-back finals MVPs, something few people have done in the history of the NBA. Again, I'm not taking anything away from SGA. He's had a great year, but he's basically had the same year as last year. And I'm sorry, nobody expected the Spurs and the Pistons to be as good as they were. And the word is
For
valuable
Matt,
to me. So
go ahead.
I would give it, my order personally would go Wemby, Cade, and then I think you could have an argument between Cade Cunningham and Nikola Jokic for third, if it's me. But I think that this thing is already wrapped up. But I love the fact that Wemby is openly campaigning for it.
Yeah, I love that Wemby is campaigning. And he's like, where would the Spurs be if I wasn't here? You
By
know,
the way, my favorite part, it's not even about that. This is what he said, which caught my attention, which was basically MVP is just not about offense. MVP is about defense too. And I think he became the third fastest player in the history of the NBA to get a double double in one of these games while you were in Germany. He had 10 and 10 within 8 minutes. I know in back to back games, he had like 40 points and 19 rebounds. I mean, the dude is a unicorn. At his age, he's doing something that nobody, not Michael Jordan, not LeBron, not Will Chamberlain, not anybody that's the ghost of NBA's past have done. He is a one of one player.
he really is. Um, I think in terms of who you put in your lineup, I agree with, but you have to include Jaylen Brown in there also. We'll get to the Celtics here shortly.
I agree. I think the issue with Jaylen Brown is he's an NBA champion already. He's not very marketable to the media because he doesn't have the game like that translates the personality wise. He's having an MVP season. There's no doubt about it. The
Think
problem
about it.
is,
Think about it. Again, we'll get to the Celtics shortly. But when Jason Tatum went down and we went into this regular season, you and I, neither one of us had the Celtics as a top 3 seed. I think we both had them in like that four
around
to
the 6-7 somewhere. I think we flirted with them maybe being a play-in, but I think we both said 6 seed.
yes,
Um,
and yet
so
here they are
as the
firmly
2 seed. Well,
exactly.
it's my argument for Wemby and Cade. Like you and I both thought the Pistons and Spurs were going to be good teams. We both thought maybe 4 or 5 seed. Uh, I don't care what the odds say. I will stamp my finger on this right now. The San Antonio Spurs should be the favorite. I'm not going to say they're going to win it. They should be the favorite to win the NBA title this year.
I'm hoping we get a Spurs Thunder Western Conference Finals, and then my ideal finals would be either the Spurs or the Thunder going against the Boston Celtics.
That's interesting. See, my dream is just a second round matchup. I want to see what we got on Saturday night, which was Wemby and Jokic go for 7 games.
Yes.
That's my finals. I'll be honest with you.
No, but like if you remember, we talked about the Celtics in that 2-game stretch where they played at San Antonio
Yep.
and at OKC.
The game where Jaylen Brown got kicked out of the game, and
you have no idea how furious I was when that referee ejected Jaylen Brown from that game in San Antonio.
By the way, so while we're talking about the NBA and the load management and the games played, you might have been back from vacation. I'm not sure yet. I don't know if you saw the stat that was floating around Twitter last week, but in national television games this year, in total, out of every national TV game, only 32% of the national TV games that the NBA has produced this year has had every single team's star, which is defined as a player within the last 2 or 3 seasons being an all NBA player or an all-star, be healthy and playing in the game.
It's ridiculous.
So, again, and we've been saying this for weeks, Josh. We're going to talk more NBA, but I'll say it right here, right now. We like the NBA. We're beating up on the NBA. The NBA needs a good playoff, and I think we're going to get one, but we're beating up on it because it's got issues, and the sport is more becoming, I would argue, narrative-driven than it is about watching. I mean, I was talking about this today. I grew up with, and so did you, LeBron, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Steve Nash, Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, you name them.
Dwight Howard.
Yes, and now we've got SGA, we've got Jokic, we've got Wemby, we've got Tatum, we got Jaylen Brown, we got Brunson, we've got Giannis, we got Anthony Edwards, we've got Cooper Flag, we've got most of these stars, young and old, but it's like there's a disconnect between the NBA and how to market these guys, and the majority of them are in the West, which is hurting viewership, I would argue.
Yeah. By the way, going back to what you said earlier, like Wemby's comments, he's 100% right because there's 2 sides of the floor, and Wemby has got Defensive Player of the Year on lockdown.
I would say he's got Defensive Player of the Year on lockdown until he retires, as long as he's healthy.
If he had been healthy last year, he would have won it. No disrespect to
Evan Mobley at all. I completely agree with you. But that's the other thing. This, I think, also should go in Wemby's favor. This time last year, we were legitimately concerned about the guy's long-term health as a human being.
Yeah, and you watch what he can do. He could, take off from the free throw line and make it and dunk the ball and make it look like it's nothing for him.
He makes Jokic look like a small forward.
And that game the other night in Denver was so good. I told you, if the Nuggets can get Jamal Murray going, they can beat anybody. You can't just dismiss the Denver Nuggets.
I'm not dismissing that. The problem is with them, they're going to have to go up against San Antonio. I don't know if they can beat San Antonio. I think they're the one team that could. Because I really think, no disrespect to OKC. I think if Aaron Gordon doesn't get hurt before Game 7, they could have beat OKC last year.
It'll be interesting once Seattle and Vegas. Oh, Brandon just left. So I don't know what happened there, but moving on. We're going to
Sorry about that.
There you are.
We had a technical glitch. Sorry about that.
But the Boston Celtics, they are not going to be the number 1 seed. Detroit cinched that up, but everybody is penciling in the Celtics as the favorites in the East. Should they be?
I've been saying this since Jason Tatum came back, that in my opinion, Well, he's back and it's great. And the Celtics look really good and they're playing really good brand of basketball. I just think the physicality of a team like the Knicks, and I know that people are saying the Knicks are not playing that well right now, and I get it. But I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think the Knicks are built for the postseason. And I think, and I know, it was last year, and I know Tatum got hurt, but I think the Knicks were going to win that series anyway, the way that they were playing. And no, I don't think the Celtics should be the clear cut favorites. I get why everybody fell in love with them, but I think Boston is going to revert back to what they are, which is only a jump shooting team. And they're going to get by whoever the hell they play in the first round because nobody knows what the seeding's going to look like 5 through 10 right now in the Eastern Conference. But they'll get by whoever is the seventh seed. And then they will match up, I'm assuming, with the Knicks, who I think will be the 3 because I think the Cavs will stay at the 4. And I think they will lose to the Knicks in round 2 as of right now. And if I had to take a guess right now, I would argue, and I've been saying this since the James Harden trade, the Knicks and the Cavs should be the 2 co-favorites to win in the East. And I think the Knicks, with Mike Brown, Jalen Brunson back, I think they're on a mission to at least get to the finals. And I think Karl Anthony Towns will have the postseason of his life because if he doesn't, the Knicks will be not only going home early, but Cat will be gone come this offseason. And I think that
I think Cat is the most important player for the Knicks, honestly.
Absolutely. And I think he wants to prove that they don't need to go out and get Giannis or another star. And so for me, I guess on paper, should the Celtics be favorites? Sure. But I like the Knicks more than Boston.
So, by the way, the Celtics have a very interesting game against a resurgent Charlotte Hornets team tonight in Boston. I don't think anybody in the top of the East wants to see Charlotte in the first round. Charlotte has been playing
Charlotte
much
and
better.
Atlanta are the 2 teams that you do not want to see in the first round. And unfortunately for us, I think we're going to see Atlanta.
Right. The Cavs play the Hawks twice.
Yeah, they do.
Over the course of the next 3 days. Tomorrow night.
I would sit our guys. I think I would. At least one of the games.
Yeah, tomorrow night is here in Cleveland on ESPN. And then I think the other game is Friday in Atlanta on Prime.
I mean, here's the thing about Charlotte. They're only 21 and 19 at home. They're actually been a road team. They're 22 and 17 on the road, which is unusual.
And if I'm not mistaken, Charlotte is right on the doorstep of breaking into the top 6.
So they are a half a game back of your Raptors, and I'm going to call them your Raptors because you were on the Raptors this season. I wasn't, and I'll give you that. But
yeah, you were on the Chicago Bulls.
I was, and they fired everybody. Maybe the owner finally realized we can't have 9 point guards on our roster at the trade deadline. But no, the Hornets are a half a game back. Everybody from the number 5 seed in the East, which is the Hawks, to the 10 seed in the East is 3.5 games within each other, with depending on how many games you play, 3 to 4 games left.
Yeah. But with the Celtics, I think they are the clear-cut favorite because, yes, Detroit is the number 1 seed, but I don't trust them. I think the Pistons are a bad matchup for the Knicks, but I think the Celtics could take them. I think the Cavs could take them.
I think the Pistons are going to get beat in the second round, whoever they play, whether it's the Knicks or the Cavs, because I think they'll get by the first round. I'm assuming Cade Cunningham, they're going to rush him back. Like I assume the Lakers are going to try to rush Luka Doncic back. So I think the Pistons will get by their first round matchup, but whoever they play in that second round, I think they're going to lose. And I think that regardless if Cade was healthy or not.
Yeah. Which, although I don't want to necessarily say we're going to win our first round series if our opponent is the Atlanta Hawks.
We should beat Atlanta, though. I mean, they don't have a lot of playoff experience. We have the 2 best players, maybe even the 3 best players in the series. I think the only way the Cavs were to lose a first round matchup to Atlanta is if Atlanta shoots crazy from three, which could happen. But I don't think it's likely over a 7-game series. That's the difference.
That was a great game between the Hawks and Knicks last night. It
What
came
what
down.
what that's kind of how I feel about like Charlotte and Boston if they were to match up. Like I think Charlotte could give Boston a scare, maybe a game or two. Maybe they push it further than you would like, but ultimately Boston should win the series.
I could see Charlotte pushing Boston to a game 7.
I
Honestly,
don't see that. If they do, I think they would get clapped in a game 7 personally because of the experience. Um, but like I think Boston's not going to mess around. I think the Cavs know they can't mess around because when you look at Detroit, they are as vulnerable as a 1 seed, I would argue, as the 2018 Raptors and the 2015 Hawks and the Bulls seed that was the number 1 seed with Derrick Rose.
from 2011.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, Detroit's the number 1 seed. First time since like 2007 or something. I think.
First time since I believe we beat them in the 07 ECF.
Yes. And Detroit's like the 5th or 6th different number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, going back to like 2020 at least.
Well, that's because every year in the East, somebody emerges. And usually, if you look at history, that number 1 seed outside of Giannis and that Bucks team that won the championship has not fared well in the postseason.
No, you're 100% right. So I don't know. I thought Philadelphia was the 1 seed the year the Bucks won it.
Were they? You could be right.
Because the Bucks had to go on the road for game 7 against Brooklyn.
That was the 2020-2021. Yeah, you were right. The Bucks were the 3 seed that year. So in the 2018-2019, that was the year the Raptors won it. They were the 2 seed. In 1920, that was the year that Miami got to the finals. That was the COVID year. They were a 5 seed.
Okay.
2021-2022, that was the year the Celtics got it. They were a 2 seed. And then we know about the Heat being the 8th seed in the 2023 season.
Right.
23-24, that was the year that Boston was the 1 seed and they won it. So Boston was the 1 seed that got there and won it. The last team to do that to get to the finals from the 1 was our Cavs in 15-16.
Okay. Because we were the number 1 seed last year, but it was Indiana that got to the NBA Finals.
Correct. Speaking of LeBron, he said something about the Grizzlies. And basically, he called Memphis trash and said they should move to Nashville. And I can a little bit vouch for this because my brother's girlfriend grew up in Memphis, and he's been to Memphis. And I can verify that Memphis is not a very nice place for everything he's told me. And even though they love and support their Grizzlies, the arena's a dump, and not that many fans show up. And I don't think many fans would care if they moved to Nashville anyway.
And part of LeBron's reasoning was because of the hotels the players stay at when they go to play the Grizzlies, which the Cavs ironically just played the Grizzlies in Memphis last night. That was their final game against a Western Conference team, interestingly enough. Didn't love that it was on the second night of a back-to-back, but whatever. But honestly, I'm surprised that Nashville doesn't have an NBA team because it's, like they've got the Predators. They're building a new stadium for the Titans. They put on a great NFL draft when they hosted it. Yep. It seems like an awesome city. I get it. Memphis has a lot of history, especially for the African American community. I understand that. But yeah, if the Grizzlies were to move to Nashville, I wouldn't be too upset about it. I don't think Nashville could get an expansion team theoretically because the Grizzlies would say, no. But I'm honestly surprised at how much attention this whole story has gotten.
Well, I think it's because people would rather see the Grizzlies move to Nashville or have Nashville get an expansion team as opposed to Las Vegas.
Yeah, I don't love that Las Vegas is getting an NBA team, but, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, obviously there's been a lot of talk about is expansion needed. I mean, the NBA is kind of going through. I know this has been making the rounds around the internet. There has been like every game this month has been like decided by 20 plus points or so, it feels like.
Yeah. And the NBA's trying to solve their tanking issue, but they've been really unsuccessful at doing so.
But to me, this is the argument, and me and Fitz and Jalen, we sort of touched on this, Josh, when you were on vacation. I don't think the NBA has a tanking issue. I think the NBA has an issue of, one, it's two things. Number one, this year is a very good draft, and teams are going to want to tank to get a good player because they want to be good. They want to get asses in seats. But when you have no avenues to get better now because of the second apron and the restrictions on trades and the other things the NBA has done to make it really hard to build a competitive team long term, what do you have to do to get good players if you're a Utah or Washington or Brooklyn? That's not a hot free agency destination. You tank. And I don't think that it is the NBA's fault that the Wizards and the Kings and these other teams have been bad for so many years. I think it is the general manager's fault. I'm not blaming Adam Silver for why the Wizards are bad, where I think Adam Silver is blaming it on these tanking restrictions in the lottery, and this is how we're going to fix it. The tanking issue is only going to make the bad teams get worse because there's not going to be a way for them to get better.
Yeah, you were on the Chicago Bulls train. I was the one who predicted the Utah Jazz would get into the playoffs.
Like, I think the Bulls are going to smartly try to tear it down, and they're going to be bad for 2-3 years, and they're going to be like, okay, we're going to be bad. Like, if I'm the NBA, I get rid of the lottery completely. I do it the NFL style. You're the worst team, you get the number one pick. Oh, and by the way, because of NIL, and we're finally embracing college basketball and not trying out the dumb G League Ignite that never worked, there's going to be better players now in college basketball, which will allow teams to get better quickly, which is what you want. It's not the tanking ideas that they have is not the issue. The issue was the quality of players coming into the NBA were not very good. Now they are because they're getting properly coached in college.
And you're going to continue to have all the international players coming over as well.
Yes, but the problem is the international players, some of them were not ready to play. Obviously, Luka and some of these guys were, but guys like Alex Sarr were not. And so if you can supplement that, I mean, a few years ago, we had an NBA draft where the biggest story coming out of it was which pick is Bronny going to be drafted in. We've gone from that to now there's going to be 15 American players drafted in the top 15.
Yeah. I think it was the year after San Antonio selected Wemby number 1 overall. That's when Atlanta got the number 1 pick, and they selected, I think, Zachary Ricochet.
By the way, how did the Spurs get so good? They tanked for 2-3 years, and they got the best player available.
Yeah.
And they got the number 2 pick, and Dylan Harper's going to be really good, and Stephon Castle's going to be really good.
Yeah. And they used some of their assets and got De'Aaron Fox.
Yes. So there you go. There's my TED talk on that.